How'd you wind up working for WWE? How did that come about?
I learned how to wrestle because that's what they needed. I put together a tape. Paul was pushing for me. There was a spot that opened. Listen, wrestling's about one thing and one thing only. I don't care if you know, a top person or not.
Right.
If there's a spot open, the business is about spots. That's it. And if you fit that spot or that void, you're married to it.
Right.
Well, if you fit the spot and someone wants you and pulling for you, you're married to it. Okay? So there was a spot open for this heel girl. Paul knew about it, handed my tape. That's how it happened. They brought me in for a trial run, and they taught me how to wrestle more, which was so hard for me because now I'm older. I'm like 32 years old, learning how to wrestle full time.
Where'd they send you, OVW?
No, they actually did want me to go to OVW. They wanted me to go to a developmental, and I told them, and this was a big conflicting time in my life too.
Right.
I owned my own home. I had my own responsibilities, and they were going to offer me like nothing to go down to OVW, which they do for everybody. And I winded up turning a job down. A lot of people don't know that. I turned down the first offer. And the reason why I said, listen, and it was so hard for me because here I worked my whole life to get to this point, and now I got to turn it down? Like, oh my God, why is God punishing me like this? Right? And it was because I couldn't leave my home to go down there. I didn't have a husband. I didn't have someone that was able to support me while I went down there. I'm 32 years old. I can't go running after a dream at 32 years old. I was a different spot. So I told him, I was like, I can't go down to a developmental. If you want me, I will work my ass off. I will do whatever it is you want me to do, but I cannot relocate. I have an older parent. I can't.
Right.
And they said, okay. They called me back later on, and then they offered me something different. And they said, we'll teach you on the road if you want to come. I was like, absolutely. And I did. I worked every single day. I worked my butt off.
Who was your mentor? Who took you under the wing up there?
I was really lucky. I was so lucky. I've been lucky since day one with mentors in this business.
Right.
When I went to WWE, Fit Finley, obviously. He taught the girls. Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit. Who else spent a lot of time with me? Arn Anderson spent tons of time with me on how to be a heel and teach me the art of tag teaming. You know, the outside antics and the timing, and like each person taught me something different. You know, Chris Benoit would teach me aggressiveness, little things that he did in the ring, just like instead of just shooting someone off, you know, shoot them off, but like kind of stop them and give them a knee to the gut, and then, you know, doing a reverse, give them a knee, then throw them in, like little things. Right. Eddie taught me just little crisp things of getting up and positioning, and Dean would teach me how to keep it in a circle, you know, keep everything in the center in a circle, and it was just, I was just so lucky. I had the best teachers in the world. The best teachers.
What about Vince? What were your initial impressions of Vince?
He's scary. He's intimidating. He's not scary, he's intimidating. He walks in a room and he's a man that demands respect, even if you didn't even know who he was. He just has that air about him. But I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. And I've said this on many interviews. How many times or in how many places can you knock on a door and say to the president or the owner of a company and say, I need to speak to you for a minute. And they actually let you in on a moment's notice. Vince McMahon does that for us. A lot of people don't realize that. But there are a few times I can think of off the top of my head right now where I've knocked on doors and said, I'm Vince, I need to talk to you for a minute. Now, I'm not saying he's going to give me the amount of time he might give Hunter or Kurt Angle or Booker T.
Right.
But he'll give me 5 or 10 minutes. And if he can't resolve it or put me to someone that can, he'll say, Dawn, and he did do this once, Dawn, call my secretary, come up to the office and we'll talk. I'll set aside time.
What were some of the reasons that you had to talk to him?
Just professional reasons. one time, some of the girls, we were going to do some, it was in San Diego, and they wanted us to do this lingerie type of thing. And I always put a lot of effort into my work. And some of the girls were pissed off, and they started going, I'm not a stripper, I don't walk out there in my underwear and my this and that, just complaining about it. And someone had told me that all the girls were complaining that they didn't want to do it. So I knocked on the door, because I'm not going to allow someone to speak for me.
Right.
And I said, Vince, can I speak with you for a minute? And he said, sure. And I said, Vince, two things. One is, I just want to let you know that I have absolutely no problem with going out there and doing what you asked us to do.
Right.
I heard that some people were saying all the girls, I'm not being a stooge, but they did speak out of line. I did not say that. Okay? And I said, and second of all, and then the counterpart of it, he just wanted us to all walk out already in our like in our lingerie or bikinis or
Right.
whatever. And I said, Vince, I thought this was going to be more of a contest, and I actually have a whole get-up. Like, it was this thing I did with the top hat and the tie and the man's shirt. I was like, kind of like my whole thing goes together, and like, what do you want me to do now? And you know what he said to me? He goes, you know what, Dawn Marie, that's why I love you. He goes, that's why you, he didn't say I love you. He goes, that's why you're the professional that you are. That's what he said to me. He goes, that's why you're the professional you are. He goes, because you take something this little that we give you, he goes, and you make it this big. He said, that's why we like you here. And I said, well, thank you. I said, so does that mean I can wear my whole outfit out there?
Right.
Because I want to do my whole show.
Right.
You know? And he said, absolutely. And then he had it where all the girls came out in their
Nice.
things. And, you know, that was one thing. Another time was I went to him. It was during our first draft. And I told him that I wanted to talk to him about some things and about on my days off, if I can go down to a developmental area, if the company would fly me in, like maybe twice a month, to learn more and do some other things. And he said to me, he goes, Dawn Marie, he goes, if more people in this company had your work ethic, he says, I wouldn't have half the problems we have. So, I mean, these were just different things. Like, if it had to do with career, I mean, I didn't go to him like, so-and-so did this.
Right.
It was career moves.
Okay.
When I had to ask him things.
Thoughts on The Rock?
I only met him once.
Okay.
And he is an absolute gentleman. He's a class act. And I met him at a WrestleMania. I forget where it was. But anyway, I met him at WrestleMania, and he had this beautiful pendant. And I said, oh my goodness, that is beautiful. You know, he probably used to people telling him he's beautiful. And I'm like, oh my God, your pendant's beautiful. Like a big jackass, right? First time I meet him. And he goes, well, do you like it? And it was something Samoan. I said, it's gorgeous. He goes, well, here, you could borrow it and wear it for the day. And I'm going, no. Because all I could think of is, okay, everyone's going to think I'm sleeping with him because I'm wearing his pendant, you know. But how do you tell Rocky no? I'm like, no, it's okay. Really, it looks really good on you. No. He's like, no, I want you to wear it because you enjoy it. He goes, I want you to enjoy it for the day. So, of course, here I am wearing Rocky's pendant, like, just looking for trouble.
Right, rumors out.
But at the same time, what do you say? No, I'm not going to wait. It's just one of those really awkward situations I was put in.
Right.
But he was a complete gentleman, and he's always been a class act.
How about The Undertaker?
Love Taker. Taker helped me so much. Taker's a hard one to get close to.
That's what everybody says.
But once you are, you're there forever. And Taker only lets you in if he believes and he sees that you respect the business, you want nothing but the best for the business, and you respect him. And there were many times I've gone to him for advice on things, professional advice, and through that we've developed a relationship, and he saw how hard I would try and how I was respectful. And Taker and I have even gotten to the point where we would drink together, and we used to have a lot of fun. I mean, not all the time, but when we go overseas and stuff, there are many nights where we would all go out and just put him back and have a great time. So he did definitely make it a great experience.
When you first came into the company, were you well received by the other girls?
I think think as well as I possibly could be coming from ECW. There was definitely a stigma that came with the ECW people that came in. But I think I did a really good job of becoming a WWE member and not considered ECW.
Right.
I was able to transfer that type of connotation that came with me. People didn't think of me as, oh, that's an ECW person, that's a WWE person. Like, it's like I got away from the ECW personality.
Did any of the girls mentor you there at all? Or try to help you out? Or were they pretty much protective of their spots?
No. You know, I was there with a great bunch of girls. It was me, Nydia,
Right.
Jackie Gata, Torrie, Stacy, Ivory, Miss Jackie, Terry Reynolds, Victoria, Trish Stratus, Lita.
Doesn't get any, but yeah.
It don't get
All
any
right.
better. I mean, there hasn't been a roster like that since we all left.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, Jazzy girl.
Right.
So, I mean, okay, no one's taking Jazzy girl's spot. No one can take Lita's spot. I mean, Lita's Lita. Okay? You have Terry Reynolds. I mean, she's the original diva. Everyone had their own spot. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Trish is Trish.
Right.
I'm not taking Trish's spot. I mean, come on. Who's going to take Trish's spot? Still no one's taking Trish's spot. How many years? It just goes on, and I think everyone was pretty secure with their, because we were all so different, and we all had something so different to offer, that I don't think anyone was really protective of their spot, because, I mean, I don't know if I'm sounding cocky, but there was no one there that could take my spot. I don't think there was a girl in that locker room when I was there that could be cheered when she walked out and booed to shit when she got in the ring.
Right.
I'm sorry. If that's being cocky, that's being cocky. But that's what I was good at. And there was no one that could do that. There was no one there that could do the high-flying crap like Lita did. There was no one there that could be like Trish, just this tough, aggressive chick that could kick the crap out of everyone but look like a beauty queen when she was done. We were so different that I don't think anyone was really worried about anyone's taking anyone's spot.
I guess, was it hard for you and Pat to keep your relationship going now that you were on the road and you had a full-time job in WWE and he was now back at home, sort of?
Yeah. It created a lot of problems. I was on the road 275 days. I was a huge ambassador for the company. I did a lot of charity work when I was with the company. I did stuff with the USO, children's groups, a lot of the literacy programs. I did stuff with the SmackDown Your Vote. I did a lot of public speaking for the company.
Right.
Probably almost on a weekly basis. A lot of stuff people don't know about. I would go and speak with underprivileged children because I come from a very jaded background where I would speak to children about not allowing their past to dictate their future, and that is our choices today that make us the human beings we're going to be in the future. These are the things I did when I was there. I used to tell Sue, if there's an autograph session here or pre-sale, or there's a bunch of kids here that need to be talked to,
Right.
send me here.
Right.
Not that I don't love the fans, but there's plenty of people that can do that. There wasn't plenty of people who can actually communicate and talk to someone and help them. And I feel like that's one of God's gifts I have. So that's what I did a lot of. Now, because of that work and because of the schedule at WWE, I was never home. I was home, I'd come home Wednesday afternoon, and sometimes I'd leave on Friday.
Wow.
Okay? So then when Pat got his job at TNA, he would leave Wednesday morning. So basically, he would literally drop the car off on Wednesday morning. I would pick it up so we didn't have to pay for double parking. Okay?
Wow.
Wednesday afternoon. I'd go home, spend Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday morning, I would pick him up from the airport, spend the remainder of Friday if I was home that day, and then leave Saturday morning.
It's a crazy schedule.
That would ruin the best of relationships.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are people that would have bet every penny in their life savings and thought me and Pat would make it, including myself. But those type of schedules, what happens is you start to learn, you start to grow apart, and you start to realize, oh my God, I have a life without that person. And then you realize this person comes over and starts comforting you and talking to you, and you wind up developing relationships with other people, and you just forget about what's at home. Or You know, and vice versa. He was on the road when I wasn't there, and then he would find relationships and people to comfort him, or we no longer needed each other before we even knew it happened. And then we were actually split a lot longer than people thought.
Right.
We kept it under wraps because I felt that my relationship with Pat was so much more important to me than what people thought of me or their opinions of me. And, you know, I did have a relationship with someone on the road for quite a while, and people thought that I was cheating on Pat.
Right.
But I wasn't. As a matter of fact, Pat knew all about that person. But to me, I would prefer for someone thinking I was the piece of crap than people to exploit our breakup and us getting through whatever it was we were going through.
Right. Now, when you came in, did you expect to be back with Lance Storm in WWE?
We tried like heck.
But it didn't.
We tried like heck. To the point where Lance even got heat for it for a while. I remember one time Lance came to me and he said, you know, I'm getting so frustrated. Vince keeps telling me to come up with something, he goes, and I keep putting you in the storyline, and he just doesn't want to hear it. And he's like, you know, I finally said to Vince, you want me at my best, and I've never been at my best unless I was with Dawn. He goes, Dawn brings the best out of me. And he's like, the only way I'm going to be my best is if you put me with her. You know, in that way he said it. And Vince didn't like that. I got a little heat. And I think because maybe it was put that way,
right.
You know, they never did it because Vince didn't want to be proven wrong.
You were put with Vince as, I guess, his accountant, right, in the beginning?
His personal assistant.
Right, his personal assistant. What are your memories of doing the skits with Vince?
Oh my God, how scary was that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, come on now. It's like, hey, let me teach you how to run before you crawl.
Right.
I don't even know half the people's names in the back. And, you know, here you have me doing a program with Vince and Stacy Keibler. I mean, it's just, I've been so lucky. You know, my first break with ECW was Tammy coming off her Sunny Days, which is huge.
Right.
And then you have me, you know, being with the Impact Players, which was the biggest group one of the biggest groups in ECW ever. And then you have me go with WWE, and I'm with Vince McMahon and Stacy Keibler at the top with Stephanie McMahon. I mean, you don't get any better breaks than that. It was so nerve-wracking, and all I was like, please don't make me have to kiss him. Please don't make me have to kiss him. That's every week I'd go and I'd go, oh my God, what if I have to kiss him? I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do this. Just because, I mean, he's Vince. Like, I don't think I could do it.
Right.
You know. But no, I didn't have to. I ended up having to kiss the beautiful Torrie Wilson instead.
Let's talk about your angles with Torrie. How did that all come about?
Paul Heyman. Paul came to me and he goes, Dawn, because they couldn't find anything for me. And he goes, Dawn, you better make this work. He goes, because they're running out of stuff. He goes, if this doesn't work, I don't know if you can keep your job.
Huh. Wow.
And I was like, okay, what is it? And he told me. And I said, no problem.
Good.
So that was it. And I just, no problem. And whatever came my way, we just did it and did it and did it. And the chemistry between Torrie and I was unbelievable. And the hardest part ever was kissing her dad on a continual basis. And Vince thought it was the greatest thing ever. And he'd be like, Dawn, I want to see tongue. I want to see tongue. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
I don't like it every time I hear Vince say, I want to see tongue. I want to see tongue. I hear Paul over here go, this is your last chance. This is your last chance. And I'm going, okay, there'll be plenty of tongue. You know. But it was just insane. It was a crazy business.
From what I understand from talking to Torrie, I guess Al wasn't even a wrestling fan, so he was just there for the payday, and I guess he liked getting
spend some time with his daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it originally started. They had asked her, do you want us to hire you an actor, or do you want to use your real dad? And she doesn't get to see her dad that often, so she thought it would be kind of neat to spend a little time with him.
Right. Wow.
And there goes Al Wilson.
Thoughts on, I guess, the program going 9 months? Are you surprised it lasted that long?
Yeah. It was actually supposed to get a lot longer. We were supposed to go into a whole other angle with lawyers and her brother coming in and stuff like that, but I think someone had some heat somewhere, and it was
Mixed. Huh. At the time, did you like your matches with Torrie?
Love my matches with Torrie.
All right.
I think that I have never been better in my career than when I was with Torrie, and maybe it's my ego also, but I think Torrie was never as good as what she did either than with me in our work together, and I think that we completed each other
Right.
in so many ways, where she was the exact opposite of me and I was the exact opposite of her, and it just
Clicked.
worked. It worked.
Did you have any offers ever to do Playboy?
No. They don't have heels do Playboy at
Right.
WWE.
It's true.
But you know what? I'm glad I didn't. There was a time where I was like, I really want to do it because I was in real estate. And there were some projects I wanted to do. And I didn't have the money. And I was like, man, if I just did one deal with Playboy, I'd have some cash and I could do this stuff. And I started to push for it for a little bit. But stepping back now, I'm really glad I didn't. Not that I'm putting it down for anyone, but I think for where I'm at now in my life, it didn't happen for a reason.
Was there any jealousy from other girls in the locker room over all the time that you were getting?
The boys.
The boy, right? Wow.
Oh no, not the girls.
Huh.
Boys. There was a time where we were getting fifth segment consecutively,
Right.
Torrie and I. And Kurt Angle said to me, he goes, I can't believe you girls are fifth segment again. And I said, why? What's up with fifth segment? I don't know what's different.
Right.
First segment, I'm just thinking, yeah, I got some extra time to get ready. I'm not on first. And he said, well, fifth segment is where the highest rated segment always goes. And I go, oh, it does? And Torrie and I kind of looked at each other like, and that's how we found out that we were consecutively the highest rated segment for a very long period of time. Was our storyline.
Right.
And that's why we were continuously being put on fifth segment. But no one told us. It was the slip of the tongue from Kurt.
Wow.
I'm not saying he was jealous that we were on fifth segment. I'm just saying that, and then after we realized what fifth segment meant, then we were a little bit more open to why the guys were saying, oh, you're a fifth.
Right, right.
Then we understood what they were saying. We never got it before.
What about Sable? What are your memories when Sable came back?
I was a huge fan of Sable. Huge fan of Sable's work. And I was glad she came. I thought she would definitely provide us girls with something different that none of us had. Sable's Sable. She's probably like the sexiest woman you'll ever meet in your entire life. She just pours out sex. If you ever meet her, you can just sit. She just sat there.
Right.
Classy sex, like classy person.
Right, right.
She's not like a raunchy type of person. And I thought she was a great addition to us. Her and I became great friends at WWE, and we actually traveled for a while together. And I'm really happy for her. We don't keep in touch anymore. Her husband's not a huge fan of mine.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. He's not a huge fan of me. I was supposed to go to her wedding when she got married to Brock, and he didn't want me there. So rather than create problems, I just canceled my flights. And
All right.
she wanted me there. She was like, Dawn, I want you there. You're one of my best friends, and da-da-da. And I said, but you know what? She goes, this is my wedding. I want you there. I said, but it's his too. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I was like, I wish you well. I love you. Just know I'm there with you. And he just doesn't like me. For whatever his reasons are. I like him.
Right.
I don't know. I wish he would tell me why, because I might be able to fix it. It might just be a misunderstanding. It might be a story he heard. It might be... I have no idea.
What about Nydia? You actually teamed with her a little bit. What are your memories of teaming with her?
My compadre.
Right.
My partner in crime. Nydia and I were best of friends when I was there. And we would get into major trouble together. And I would definitely say my days with Nydia were my fun days. Nydia taught me how to laugh at myself. Sometimes we get a little caught up in ourselves and we take things a little too serious. Nydia brought out a side in me that she taught me how to laugh at myself. She taught me how to laugh at things you can't change. She's very addictive. She has a great addictive personality. She's funny, funny, funny. She's fun to be around. She's the type of person that lives life for every second there is. And she's definitely addictive. We would go out, our crew, our posse, we used to call it the posse.
Right.
It was me, Nydia, Rikishi, Rey Mysterio, Chuck Palumbo. That was the 5 of us. And when I tell you we would tear the towns up, it was disgusting. And the rule was that we had to keep up with them. That we weren't allowed to act like girls. If we act like girls, we were sent home.
Right.
So, you know, here's Keisha doing shots of Grand Marnier. Dawn, come here! Like, you know, and I was like a lot skinnier than I am now, and I'm sitting there doing shot for shot with Keisha at like, what, 400 pounds, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, Chucky P's like 10,000 feet tall, and, you know, and poor Ray, he's just Ray.
Right.
But, we just used to have a great time, and then we'd have people come in and out of the group, but it was always us 5. Me and Nydia would travel together, and then Keish, Ray, and Chucky would travel in one car together, and we just Nydia and I were so accepted in the locker room as boys.
Right.
We weren't girls. We were the boys. We did everything with the boys. I mean, we did things with the guys that girls could never even imagine that they could ever be a part of. And I can remember one time we were on the road and we stopped at some sex store. And Nydia and I were looking around, what can we get into, right?
Right.
So we buy these little pocket rockets.
Right.
Right? So we go to the ring the next day because we all have to train the next day. And Chucky P has these like basketball shorts on because he's a basketball player from years back. And so I would get in the ring and I'd talk to Chucky and and try to get his back to the ropes.
Right.
And Nydia would take the dildo and like go up his pants really slow and then turn it on. Be like, Jesus Christ! You know, or we would do things like that all the time to people, or we would get them with the dildos in the ring, or just all what Nydia and I did. No girls would ever get away with in a million billion years, but they would laugh because they would just be like, "Oh, that's it. It's on.
Right.
Okay, what else?"
What about Gail Kim? You got to work a little bit with Gail. What do you remember working with Gail?
I met Gail when she was on the Indies in Canada with Scott D'Amore.
Right.
It was through my time between ECW and WWE. And she was working up there, and she was a very nice young lady. And then when she came to WWE, I knew she was Scott's girl. And Scott actually called me and said, you know, Gail's going over there. Take a look out for her. And it just so happened that when she came in, I was the one she was paired up with throughout the whole, the loops.
Right.
House shows. So we worked a lot together, and you know, like I said, what I do best is just showcase what people can do. And so we worked really hard on my catching her, supporting her, doing all the things she does wonderfully. And we did a really good time, and then they took her to Raw right away. So, but I did get to work with her probably about 2-3 months on the house shows.
Out of all the places that you got to travel in WWE, what was your favorite place to go to?
Thailand.
Thailand? Wow.
Thailand was the most beautiful place. Probably because that was the one place I was actually able to enjoy.
Right.
They sent me out there on a meet and greet. So I was there for the week prior.
Wow.
And I got to really sightsee and view it. And we went to this great cuisine. I was sent out to go to this dinner with local people that were helping us.
Right.
Industry people. And we went to this cuisine where they had dance, like authentic Thai dance and cuisine, and we went on one of those rice boats and all these really neat things. And I think Thailand was my favorite because I actually was able to view it and be a part of the culture.
Right.
But they are the nicest people. Out of everywhere I've ever been, they were the nicest people.
What are your thoughts on Triple H?
I don't know him.
What about Steph?
I think Stephanie's awesome. I think I give her tons of credit as to why I was able to walk through the curtain and get cheered, and by the time I got to the ring, be booed. She spent a lot of time with me. She would go over, because I had so much verbiage at one point in my career where it was just unbelievable. I don't even know how I memorized it because I had the worst memory in the world.
Right.
But she would word for word, go through it with me before I went out there and just go through all the little idiosyncrasies where she really wanted it to go and teach me why and this and that. She really taught me the art of turning
Right.
people.
Okay. So I guess you would consider Paul Heyman as one of your, I guess, allies backstage, right?
What do you mean by that?
It was pretty much somebody that you go to and talk to, and you know.
Paul was my friend. Paul was my confidant. To this day, Paul is the one person in this whole universe that can look at me from across a room and know exactly what's going on in my head. In the entire universe. And I mean that. I will put no second guess. Paul can look at me from across the room and tell me whether I'm happy, sad, something wrong, something's confusing me.
Right.
He just has this way with me. He's just he's very in tune with where I'm at in my life. And to this day, when I need advice or I need help, he is the first person I go to. And he is always there for me, regardless if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Which he's always up at.
Yeah, it's actually probably easier to get him at 6 in the morning
Exactly.
than at 12 in the afternoon. But
I guess I don't know if you want to address it. You kind of touched about it earlier. There's rumors on the internet about an affair between you and somebody. I don't know if I can say his name or.
I would prefer not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
If people know who I'm talking about, so it was pretty much true then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get away from that topic since we can't get into
No,
it.
it's just, people have lives and families, and
I
there's just
understand.
no need to talk about things. But I had 2 relationships, long-standing relationships when I was with WWE.
Right.
But, they all have families and lives, and that come afterwards, and I do too. I'd rather not talk about them.
No problem. I guess some of the girls you had to work with, they weren't really from the wrestling background. Was it hard to work with some of the girls in the ring that didn't come from a wrestling background?
Yes, including myself.
Right.
I didn't come from a wrestling background, so I'm sure it was hard to work with me. A lot of us girls were learning how to wrestle while we were being employed.
Right.
So, here I am, I'll go out there and go, okay, I could barely get myself through this. I hope you can get yourself through your part. And, we just really worked hard at it. I can remember one time, it was one of my last matches with WWE, and when they started getting the craze of all the girls coming in, these models, and they told me, you have a 6-minute match with Michelle McCool. I went, okay.
Huh.
What can she do? Well, nothing. Can she take a back bump? She didn't even know how to take a back bump at this point. How do you have a 6-minute match with someone that doesn't even know how to take a back bump?
Right.
I looked over at Arn Anderson, and Arn was over in the corner, and I looked at him like, he goes, well, honey, now you're a magician. And I just looked at him, I was like, okay. I'll do it. I could barely get myself through a match.
Who put the matches together? Was it Fit who pretty much
Fit
said?
put them together in the girls.
Right.
It was a collaboration. We kind of said what we felt comfortable doing, and then Fit would put it where it needed to be. We all worked with a very limited, repertoire.
Right.
Very very small repertoire, and but we made it work as best we can.
You also did an angle with Charlie Haas. What was that like? And you got to work.
Well, that was fun. I mean, Jackie's one of my best friends ever.
Right.
And I know Charlie and his family since I remember meeting him at the Jersey All Pro with his brother many years ago in Bayonne, New Jersey. And I used to have a crush on Charlie Haas. Right?
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, Charlie. So I tried to hit on him back when I was younger. Okay? And it was funny because then years later, and we've always kept, then I ended up being with Pat and this and that.
Right.
Never went with Charlie. Guys. But did have a crush on him. And then like later on, I was with Pat. Pat was very good friends with the family because they trained with Jim Kettner, and Pat was very close with Jim, so it was like almost like family.
Right.
So then I became very close with Charlie and Russ and the family, his parents. And actually after ECW closed down, WWE did send me and Pat down to Ohio Valley to train, Memphis with Terry, what's his name? He was down there. Terry, I forget whatever name is.
I don't know.
Terry Gordon.
Terry Gordy?
No, Terry Gordon. I
Terry
think it was.
Gordon. I don't know who he is.
No, not Terry Gordon.
Yeah, I know,
Terry
totally.
Gordon, I think. Terry something. Golden. Terry Golden. That's what it was.
Okay.
Terry Golden. That he was running a territory, and they
Right.
sent us down there to train and learn. And we wound up staying with the Haas brothers, and Russ's wife, and so I've been close with Charlie like through my whole life, you know. And then when he started dating Jackie and I were best friends, and we used to travel together.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you a quick story about Jackie and I. Jackie is 10 years I'm 10 years her senior.
Right.
Okay? She was born November 3rd, 1980. I was born November 3rd, 1970. Okay? We were best friends, like really, really close, inseparable at WWE. We were so much alike. Now, my baby was born 12/20/05.
Right.
Her baby, the due date was 12/20, like the following year.
That's-
How crazy is that?
That is weird.
Like, you don't get any closer in the line of stars if you believe in all that stuff and that. So it just shows you, like, we're pretty tight. And when she met Charlie, I was so happy that her and Charlie were together because I know Charlie and the family, and they're wonderful people. And I know that they'll be in my life forever.
Right. Right.
Because there's just too many ties. And she just had her new baby.
I just heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Can't wait to go down. I'm going to go down and see them soon.
Some former divas complained about Randy Orton. Did you have any problems with Randy ever at all?
No.
No. Okay.
No. Randy is a Randy. Randy, there's a story about Randy and I. Randy and I were very close when we first started. We just clicked. And because I was like one of the boys. I was
Right.
one of the girls. I mean, I don't say anyone to sleep with me click. I mean, we were totally tight and cool. You guys knew I wasn't sleeping with anyone. They knew it wasn't happening.
Right.
So, either that or I was with someone already. So it wasn't going to be like that. And he had just started. And I forget where we were, but there were no hotel rooms anywhere. Nowhere. No one knows the story either. You're first.
Awesome.
And he was in my car, and he's like, Dawn, there's no rooms. There's no rooms. Can I just stay in your room? There's nowhere for me to sleep. And I'm going, yeah, okay. This guy's going to try to, you know. So I tell him, I'm like, listen, Randy, you can stay in my room, but you can't sleep in my bed.
Right.
And you're leaving like early in the morning. So we had to catch a plane at like 7 in the morning. It's like 12 o'clock at night. I'm not going to make the kid sleep in his car.
Right.
So we get to the room, and this chair is like this big. I'm like, Randy, you can get in my bed. But if you as much as your toe touches me,
Right.
I'm kicking you out in the hallway.
Right.
Okay? So he slept in the bed with me. We got up in the morning. We go to the airport. I don't know what happened, but something transpired where he was late picking someone up. Some kind of kooky thing happened. And we're on the plane. And everyone's asking him, where'd you sleep last night? Why didn't you pick so-and-so up? Or something crazy. And they were going to take him to wrestling court. Because something like he blew someone off or no one could find him.
Right.
And it was my fault that no one could find him. I was like, don't you answer your phone. Don't you tell anyone you're in this room because I don't want any rumors. I'm
Right.
just starting here. Da-da-da-da-da. So he did that so he didn't have to sleep on the street. Meanwhile, the next day he's getting killed with it because he wasn't obtainable
Right.
throughout the night, I guess. So they wanted to take him to wrestling court. And I'm like, and Chuck and I were friends at the time. And I'm like, Chuck, what am I going to do? Like, Randy spent the night in my room, but nothing happened. I just let him sleep there because he had nowhere to sleep. And what am I gonna do? And everyone's gonna like think I'm a whore. I slept with Randy. He's like, just play it cool. Don't play into it. Just let it go. Let it go. So finally, thank God it blew over. But
That's awesome.
that's my Randy Orton story. And Randy and I have always been close, and he's a sweet kid.
What about Moolah and Mae Young? You got to, I think, wrestle them, right?
Did.
It's pretty cool.
It's the highlight of my life. My whole career. They used to make fun of me because I was so far up Moolah and Mae's butt when I came there. I was just like, people call us marks.
Right.
They made fun of me. Everyone in the locker room, because if you saw Moolah or Mae,
You were there.
I was there serving them tea, coffee, getting them their dinner.
Right.
Do you want a snack? Do you want some gum? Are you okay? Are you comfortable? You want me to put the air up? I was annoying to them.
Right.
Because,
Right.
I mean, it's Moolah and Mae. Come on. And so, I mean, if we went to lunch, I walked down to lunch catering with them. I sat and ate catering. The highlight of my career ever was when I did the tag match with Torrie against Moolah and Mae. And Moolah in the middle of the ring goes, Dawn, come here. And I walk over and she says, we have a match tonight. It's me and you. It's like, when we pair off.
Right.
You got me. And I'm like, okay. First I was all excited, then I go, oh no, did I piss her off? Did I annoy her? I'm like, mate's gonna be, I'm like, Moolah's gonna beat the crap out of me.
Right.
And then Bubba overheard it, and Bubba calls me over, he's like, what'd you do to piss Moolah off? I'm like, nothing, why can't she just like me?
Oh, that's
But it was cool. She was light as a feather, she was awesome.
easy going. At this point in time, I guess that's when you kind of left the company for a little bit, right? And then you came back for the one night stand.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
Well, I was pregnant.
Right.
And they put me on a sabbatical for a while because they were going to try to find something for me to do. And I came back and did one night stand, and that was my last show
Right.
with WWE. I was released soon after that.
I don't know if you want to talk about it. I don't know if you can. You had your baby, and you were, I guess, under the impression that you would go back and get your spot back. You never went back. Why is that?
No, I never thought I'd get my spot back there.
Okay,
No.
you pretty much knew.
Yeah, I found out I was pregnant, and after ECW One Night Stand, I was released. And no, there was never any talks of me going back after that. I was thinking about going to TNA,
Right.
and I was in talks with TNA for a very long time, but that's just not going to happen.
Why is that? You don't want to go there, or?
In my opinion, I don't think I fit the criteria right now. I know my weight gain has something to do with it, but that could be lost very easily.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, I mean, that's, give me 8 weeks and I'll be back to where I need to be. I don't mind being the weight I am now because I'm a mom. I'm 38 years old.
Right.
I don't need to look like this. That's not what I do for a living anymore. I'm a realtor. I'm a mom. I run Wrestlers Rescue. I'm now using my brain and my heart to make a living, and not this body that contains it. There's no need for me to spend 3 and 4 hours a day in a gym, nor do I want to. If I'm going to have a choice, and let me go downstairs and run on a treadmill for an hour, or hang out and watch Sesame Street with my 3-year-old son, my 3-year-old son's going to win every day,
Right.
every week. But if I had a job that was paying me, I could lose the 15 pounds that I'm overweight. It's not a lot of weight,
Right.
I think it was a physique. Then when we addressed that and I was losing it and I went for some surgery to help me lose the weight to go back, I think it's just some personality clashes that are there.
Right.
Some past relationships.
Gotcha. Let's talk about Wrestlers Rescue. What exactly it is, and how did that come about?
Wrestlers Rescue is a foundation that I created, and what happened was when my sister-in-law was very ill with RSD. Well, let me step back again. When I was released from WWE, I went through a huge downward spiral. And what this was, in which many of us go through. And what that is who am I? Where do I fit in? What do I do with the rest of my life? I was pregnant, so I was like, who is this body? What is this body that I'm in? I don't know who this person is. I was just now a brand new wife, brand new mom, just so many things. And I went through a deep depression, which created a lot of my weight gain. I'm a stress eater. And through that, I went away from wrestling. I needed to step away because I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know how to communicate with people outside the industry. I didn't know how to talk about anything other than wrestling. And that's not what I want people to identify me with. So basically what happened was I went to therapy for 1.5 years and learned who I was again. And you know what I found? I liked who I was and not who I was pretending to be all these years. When my during the end of this cycle of what I was going through, my sister-in-law fell ill with a very rare disease called RSD. And basically some of the symptoms of it is if you as much as touch her with the lightest touch of a feather, like this, it feels like you poured gasoline on her and set her on fire. Like it's the pain associated with fire. I saw this girl that was middle-class America, worked very hard, loved her job, just got married, become feeble and weak in a wheelchair, losing 80 pounds within less than a year. Because you have to realize, anywhere there was skin, she felt this pain.
Right.
Your mouth is lined with skin, your throat is lined with skin, and it put life in perspective, in the sense that the simple pleasures in life that we all take for granted, this young lady couldn't have. Eating an ice cream cone, taking a shower, getting dressed, laying next to your spouse at night. She couldn't do that without excruciating pain. During this last cycle of my depression, it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, saying, well, who am I to be depressed over not having a job? Or, okay, someone a little fatter. Who cares? Like, this lady can't even eat a friggin' ice cream cone without enjoying it. What's wrong with me? How selfish is that of me? How petty is that? So it kind of took me out of my funk a little bit, put a little reality into life, just put life into perspective. Then her treatments in the United States wasn't working, and she was getting low dose treatment. It wasn't working. She had an advanced version of this RSD. We had to send her to Mexico. It cost $50,000 for a high dose treatment, and what they did is they put her in a coma, induced her with ketamine, enough ketamine in one day that they usually supply a hospital with in 2 weeks. And ketamine, known as Special K.
Right.
Brought her down as close to death as possible, put her on life support, and then brought her back to life. And what that did was it rebooted the brain, just like we do a computer when it jams, and we go, oh shit, we turn it off and then turn it back on.
Right.
Well, that's what they did to her brain.
Wow.
And we needed $50,000. Insurance wouldn't cover it because it was out of the States. So being that I was a celebrity in our family, I was the one people turned to. I didn't have the money. Wrestlers don't make any money, and this time I was out of work for 3 some odd years, not even working. So I started doing fundraiser. I started going out and doing appearances, getting the word out. We started doing some fundraising for her, and I learned about fundraising. We raised $32,000. Her date came up. She had to go get the procedure done. She put it on a credit card to $18,000 that we were short. I said, don't worry, Carrie, I'm going to put something together. So I started putting together a small meet and greet, some local talent in the area, try to raise some money. Well, the outpour of the community was so unbelievable that wanted to help me and my family that it was overwhelming to me. And what this did, it made me realize that maybe I shouldn't judge the whole wrestling community on one bad thing that happened to me.
Right.
Or one incident. And it kind of rekindled my love for the business, where I started looking at it again like, you know what, I really miss this business. I love it. Why aren't I a part of it? Okay, I might not be able to contribute in a positive way in the ring anymore, but why can't I contribute out of the ring in a positive way? Then as I was doing these appearances, I was watching these older guys that I came up with. Well, they came up before me, but trained me through my indie days, like the Sheik and Nikolai and, you know, all these guys, Don Morocco and all these guys from the 80s. And I'm watching them just getting older and more feeble and just ill because of their career choice. Okay, not because they're just getting old, just knees, hips. I became really good friends with Billy Graham at this time, and I heard his story about the liver transplant and the contraction of hepatitis C due to the commingling of blood, and all these different ailments that happen.
Right.
And I just said, this is ridiculous. And the straw that broke the camel's back, no pun intended, was I was in Chicago. There's Iron Sheik in front of me, and he's doing this, falling asleep. And at first, you know, we all laugh at it. Ha,
Right.
Sheik, he's falling asleep. Then it like hits you. Oh my God, this man's peddling pictures to make a living. Don't fly. He's 70 years old. He should be home relaxing, watching the game. Then I see Eric Sims wheeling him to the bathroom, and I go, Shiki, where you going? He goes, Adana Marie. I go, Shiki, go to the bathroom. You watch Shiki's gimmicks.
Let's switch tapes.
Okay.
Because it's going to run out. I don't want to. Awesome.